Enterprise Connect 2025. It's just around the corner, and guess what? This year, NG911 is finally stealing the spotlight. From a historic mock PBX RFI to a full-blown panel on implementation, we've come a long way over the last 20 years. But what does this mean for enterprises? Today, we're going to break it down with a little humor and a whole lot of truth. Right here on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories in public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm an EMP and Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform. Bringing you the latest, most informative, and sometimes controversial take on emergency communications. Today we're going to dive into Enterprise Connect 2025, where NG911 is finally taking center stage. Let's talk about how we got here and why enterprise administrators need to be paying close attention. Enterprise Connect, a look back to the VoiceCon days. Enterprise Connect is the Super Bowl of enterprise communications, minus the nachos and the halftime show. For decades, it's been the place where tech giants, startups, and IT leaders gather to talk about everything from the cloud to AI-driven contact centers. But 20 years ago, it was called VoiceCon, and E911 was barely a footnote in the conversation. Back in the beginning, Eric Kraft's infamous mock PBX RFI was a highlight of the show, and all of the major manufacturers, Nortel, Avaya, Mitel, NEC, Siemens, and the rest would compete for that number one spot. And this is where enterprises were first put on notice 20 years ago. Enterprises needed a real E911 solution, not just a checkbox on the RFP. And it was that little push that eventually led to Irwin Lazar's deep dive into E911 capabilities. And when Kari's law rolled around about 12 years ago, suddenly emergency calling in the enterprise wasn't just an afterthought. It became a mission-critical functional requirement, and new laws were on the way. Fast forward to 2025, and now the discussion has graduated from E911 to Next-Gen 911 implementation. What changed? Oh, just a few little minor things like federal compliance, cost savings, and the realization that sticking with outdated tech is like using a rotary phone in a 5G world. But why should enterprises care about NG911? Well, if you're an enterprise leader, here's why NG911 needs to be on your radar. First off the bat, reduced operational costs. You see, maintaining a legacy E911 solution might get the job done, but it's like keeping an old car running. Sure, you could do it, but at some point, it's going to cost you a lot more than it's worth. NG911 is streamlined, modern, and built for efficient location-based routing and multimedia support. That's right, even your existing security cameras and IoT sensors have a role in the overall solution now. Number 2 is easier compliance. Remember Kari's law, the BAUM'S Act, and Alyssa's law for schools? Today, enterprises are legally required to ensure emergency calls can be dialed, routed properly, and contain accurate dispatchable location data. NG911 simplifies all of that. No more patchwork solutions, cable records, or last-minute compliance scrambles because an inspection is coming up. It's all built in. Third is future-proofing your infrastructure. Are you building an E911 solution today? That's like buying a DVD player when streaming exists. You see, NG911 is not some distant future tech. It's here now. And smart enterprises are adopting it ahead of the curve. Regulations, funding, and 911 PSAP, that's the Public Safety Answer Point, capabilities are all aligning faster than ever before. So this year, Enterprise Connect 2025 isn't just another conference. For emergency communications, it's a turning point for the enterprise. The days of duct taping an E911 solution together are done. Now it's time to go all in on next generation 911. And by doing so, you'll reduce costs, simplify compliance, and future-proof your operations. Oh yeah, then there's a safer work environment for your employees. That should be number one. That wraps up today's episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening. For more updates and insights, you can follow me on social media at Fletch911, or you can visit 911tips.com for all of our past episodes. Hey, you like what you heard? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Got a public safety story or question? Let me know. I might just cover it in the next episode. Stay safe, thanks for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every day. I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10th spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good. TiPS is brought to you by 911 Inform, the leading next-generation 911 solution for enterprise compliance with federal 911 regulations. Visit them on the web at 911inform.com. 911 Inform, making every second count when it matters the most.